How you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Glad you could come. It's great. Yeah. If you want to sit on the floor, there's all kinds of stuff. If you want to sit in the chair, we've got some hyper uncomfortable chairs. So that's pretty excellent.
They're not great. Welcome back. Not made for sitting. Yeah.
We should turn this off.
So, Joe, I'll pull it up on my phone just in case if there's any comments you don't see.
Okay.
And
No, that'd be great.
I'll
Yeah.
give you like a secret hand signal if there's a comment.
Here's a good one. Oh my God!
Okay, I'll do that.
Bird call.
Yeah.
That's all kinds.
Us too.
I saw two bald eagles. I saw osprey.
Where did you see the osprey?
Estes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
I had a
cool.
little insurance meeting up there with an adjuster. He did not show.
Oh,
Yeah,
you drove all the way up there.
I worked out to my advantage, I think.
Bird-wise, at least. I saw a bald eagle from our house on Saturday, and then we saw 3 osprey on our drive back from. What's that? Yeah, we saw 3 osprey up in just when you enter Silverthorne, you're coming down on 9.
Oh, cool.
Come from the north. When was that? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weekends ago.
And we have our little finch nest, right?
Yeah, that's
By the
nice.
window. It's
Oh.
just had eggs.
5 eggs.
We
They must be.
hatched.
You can't see it because it's too high up, but I took a picture with my phone like this, and the eggs must be like that big because the bird is a teeny tiny bird.
They're 4 now after breakfast.
Yeah. It's time for all these super small eggs.
That's not very Buddhist.
That's not very Buddhist. Buddhist, actually. You're right. You're absolutely 100% right. Where do you live, Ben?
Near Castle Rock.
Oh, that's far. Were you in town for something, or you just decided to come on up?
It's just more free today.
Awesome. Well, thanks. That's nice.
When you walk out,
It's nice.
you'll be even more free.
Yes. That's pretty good. That was a good one.
I like that too.
That was a good one.
But we're super serious here.
Super serious. That's going to start in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Just kidding. It's actually not going to start because it never starts.
But it never ends.
And it never ends. That's right. Welcome. Welcome. And it never ends. Can you hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Good. Good to see you.
He's picking up what you made.
Good to see all of you. That's right. It's nice to be here, and I'm happy to be here. Is that the hand signal?
It's not a question. I was going to go to bed early, but I couldn't miss teaching. It's called the Vajra Recitation.
Oh, who's that? Anyone we know?
Lucas?
Old Lucas. Well, you're gonna get what you stayed up for. Loud and clear. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So glad you could come. Thank you. Thank you. Is that yours, the Prius or the Tesla?
Okay.
Yeah, it makes it easier, right? I've got one too, so and driving's a little cheaper, a little bit less. It's nice. I'm glad you came all the way up. Thank you. And you should talk to Dan because he lives not far north of where you are. If you're down by Castle Rock, he's down in Castle Pines.
Oh, I'm in Castle Pines, actually.
Ta-da!
Wow.
Making friends. That's it. I like that. That's okay. Since you guys are close by each other, you never know. You might get together and meditate sometimes. And for those of you online, welcome. Joseph Wagner. Happy to be here. Happy to have us all here together. Just be. Just be here for a second without doing anything. Letting go of whatever brought you here and not yet engaging in the future. Just being present. And from this space of openness, let a sense of good fortune arise in you. Just think all the things that had to come together that would allow you to be here either in person or online. If you're here in person, you had to be free today. You weren't free, Ben, last week, but you are free now. That's awesome. We had to be able to get here. We had to know about it. We had to want to come. We had to be ambulatory. Plus online, you had to have a computer. You had to have internet connection. You had to know about it. You had to speak English. Wow, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Welcome. It takes a lot to be here. So since that's the case, allow a sense of joy and good fortune to just rise up in you, a sense of being in the right place at the right time, and sort of a sense of like being blessed in that way. The universe is smiling at you, just like that. It's the most important thing because we tend to repeat and things that we like doing, that we feel lucky to do. And we tend to subtly and sometimes not so subtly avoid things that we don't want to be doing or that we feel obligated to do. So when you first sit down, you give rise to this sense of joy, this sense of good fortune. And right in the middle of that good fortune, think, I'm here, I'm going to experience peace, I'm going to experience openness, I'm going to learn something. And I'm not going to do that just for myself. I'm actually going to do that for all beings. So just give rise to that thought. Everybody, humans, animals, everybody wants the exact same thing. Freedom, happiness, peace. And yet they don't know how to get it. So they try all different types of things, mostly going out into their life, trying to find the right person to hang out with, or the right TV show to watch, or the right shoes to buy. But the real peace, of course, comes from within, and that's what we're going to experience. And when you think, I'm going to do this, not just for myself, but for everybody, it has great blessings. So think again, not just for me, but for all beings, I'm going to meditate. These two things, joy and what's called bodhicitta, the thought of benefiting others, are the essential key point of the right orientation, or the first excellence. There are three excellences. The excellent orientation, the excellent main part, and the excellent dedication. We're going to engage in all those tonight. And when you sit down on your cushion tomorrow, because you got to practice every day, I know you're all doing it, and all you have to do is think, I'm lucky I even want to do this. Wow, I'm going to do it for everybody. And then you've got that first excellence. Today we're going to talk about prana practice. We're going to talk about the Vajra Recitation. So in order to prepare for that, we have to control our energies. Hi, welcome. Nice to see you. You can leave your shoes there, and then we've got, if you like sitting on the floor, we've got all kinds of cushions and stuff. And if you want to sit in a chair, we have chairs. They're very uncomfortable, so you like them all. Make yourself comfortable, however that is.
You're really selling these chairs, too.
I know. They're like Iyengar chairs. So they don't have a back. They just have the outer frame of the back. So there's no way. You can sit up, but it's not so easy. I'm trying to get people to sit on the floor for some reason. Generally, sitting on the floor is excellent, especially as you get older. I'm older. But sitting on the floor, you've got to get up and get down all the time. Keeps you flexible, keeps you mobile. Do you like to sit on the floor? I sit on the floor all the time, every day, all day long. Do my work on the floor at this low table. I think it really makes sense. Make yourself at home. Yeah, everything's right over there. Since we're going to work on the prana, first thing we have to do is clear out the stale breath. So in order to prepare for that, what you have to do is you have to let go thoughts of the past. Don't worry about the past. Whatever brought you here, just let that go. You can always pick those memories and ideas up when we leave. And in the future, don't anticipate. Just be present right now. Are you comfortable? Cool. You can see me. So yeah, because we've got to see what we're doing here. I'll be like this. We're going to clear out the stale breath. Most of you know how to do this, but you might not have seen this. We'll do it together. You're going to put your hands like this. You're going to put your thumbs at the base of your ring finger. Close your hands, not tight. And put your hands with your arms straight on your knees. Okay? And then we're going to do it a few times. There's no way to do it wrong. Right arm goes out to the side. Extend your index finger. Block off your right nostril. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Put your hand down. Left arm goes out. Block off your left. Breathe out. All the way. Now in. Hold your breath. Hand goes down. Right arm goes back out. Block off the right. Out. Keep your breath out. Put your hands down. Breathe in. Breathe out and extend your fingers. In some traditions, when you breathe out, it's called shooting the arrow. So think about when you shoot an arrow, what you do is you put all the energy into pulling the arrow back, and to shoot it, you let go. Right? In the same way, when we breathe out, we're going to let go. We're not going to move at all. We're just going to breathe out. We're going to feel the urge to scratch our arm. We're going to feel the urge to look around. We're going to feel the urge to think about something. Just don't do that. Just let go. Let's try it again. Ready? Hands are like this. This is called the Vajra fist. Your hands are on your knees. Right arm goes out. Block off the right. In. Left. Out. In. Right. Out. In. Normally when we breathe, if our lung capacity is this much, we just breathe up here, just a little bit, right? Even when you exercise, don't breathe all of the lung capacity, just more than usual. When we're normally breathing, we're just breathing a little bit. All this extra air in here, it becomes kind of, I wouldn't say congested, but it's just sort of stale. When you expel it like this, when you do this practice and you expel it, that gets expelled to some degree. The new fresh prana comes in, and that is like washes out your mind. And you're totally open. Especially if you don't move after you breathe out. It's just like sweeping all the dust up in a room and sweeping it all over the door and then out the door. And all the thoughts, all the plans, all the ideas, they just go. At that moment, you don't have to meditate. Your mind is automatically totally open and relaxed, which is the very essence of meditation. Very good. Everyone's doing it so effortlessly, so easily. I'm going to invite you, whether you're online or here in the room, tonight when we practice meditation, we're going to meditate with our eyes open. It's different than normal. Maybe you might have learned your eyes are supposed to be closed so you can focus in and so forth. But meditation has one purpose. What is it?
Awakening.
Awakening, exactly, because the word Buddha means awakened one, exactly. And when you have your eyes open, you are awake. And when you have your eyes closed, you are mostly asleep. So if you were asleep and I said, hey, then you would wake up and the first thing you do is open your eyes, right? So we're going to get one step ahead. So I invite you to try it and see. The key point of the eyes is they're not too crazy, but they're not too chilling, just in the middle, but they're not looking around. Your eyes are deeply connected to your brain, and when I look at you and then I look at her, whole new picture, my mind has to process that. So when we meditate, it's not staring and holding something with the eyes, but casting them lightly, but not moving them around. This is important. Staying in that state, let's clear out the stale breath again. This time, don't move, and see how is it when your mind is like that. Ready? Right arm, breathe in. Left. Good. Since there's a few of you who haven't sat with us before, the main thing here is just relaxing your mind. This is not meditation like you normally think of meditation, which is picking an object, being the subject, and focusing on it. Whether the object is like your breath or a mantra or whatever, you're focusing on something. That's really three things, right? There's you, there's the object, and you're focusing on it. And when you wander off, then you bring your mind back. This is not that kind of sitting. This is more like this. Letting go, letting be, relaxing. When you do that, normally, you just immediately start to give rise to thoughts and you just start thinking about whatever. And you have sort of subtle thoughts and then they grow and you're just kind of wandering. When you do this in a group with people who know how to do it, then there's a state of total freedom and openness. When you meditate, your body should be like a mountain, right? Mountains don't move around. It should be still. Not hard, not holding, but just relaxed. Your breath should be like the ocean when there aren't any waves. Very calm. It goes in and out, but not very much. Just relaxed. You're not managing it. You're not controlling it. You're not trying to breathe from your diaphragm or any kind of manipulation. Not fabricating. Just letting your breath breathe itself. When you do these things, especially when you don't move your eyes around a lot, you sit still and relax. And you let go of thoughts of the past, and you don't drag up thoughts about the future. And in this moment, totally open, your mind becomes like the sky. Today was a good example of how the sky can be. It was so beautiful. Very few clouds, completely open, very vast. I often think if you live in Colorado, you have to love the sky. If you live on the East Coast, you live in the Midwest, I grew up in the Midwest, you get a lot of green, right? Lydia's from Michigan. Michigan's beautiful. Hills, you got lakes, you got rivers, you got all kinds of stuff. It's like you can be into the land. Here, you have to be into the sky to dig Colorado. When you meditate, a lot about the sky. Very vast, very open. Let your mind be like that. If you remember those 3 points, then you know it. You got body like a mountain, speech like the ocean when there are no waves, mind like the sky. You can feel it right now. You might have thoughts come up, no problem. Thoughts are like birds flying through the sky. It doesn't harm the sky at all. Even airplanes can fly through the sky, huge clouds. No problem, totally free. Touching this, touching the essence, so to speak, that which is behind the thinking mind, our continual personal reflections and thoughts about everything, that's what the essence of meditation is about. But that is not so accessible all the time. It's easier when you're sitting, when it's quiet, and you don't have to do anything. In order to bring this state into all aspects of our lives, then there are practices that involve certain formula or syllables, and those are called mantra. Mantra is like a string, usually a string of sacred syllables, which have some transformative power. They don't always have meaning, like they can't always be translated, but they have transformative power. Oftentimes they are associated with a particular aspect of energy or a particular aspect of clarity, like compassion. The mantra, everybody's heard Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum is the mantra of the Bodhisattva of compassion. If you say that a lot, your mind automatically becomes more compassionate. It resonates with the compassionate essence of ourselves, right? And there are ones for intelligence, wisdom increasing, and cutting through obstacles, many different types of mantras. Most of those mantras, in order to practice them, or at least to have them be effective, you have to receive a transmission in the form of an empowerment, which is a ritual consecration in which the teacher, who's not me, in which the master, so to speak, visualizes themselves as the deity, you visualize yourself as the deity, and then they consecrate you so you can bring forth this kind of energy from deep within you. But that requires like quite a bit of preparation, and you have to be really into it to get anything out of it. It's quite complicated. So I thought I would teach you a mantra, which is very simple, does not need an empowerment, and can be applied very, very easily by all of us in our lives. The mantra is Om Ah Hum. And when we link Om Ah Hum with a certain way of breathing, it's called the Vajra Recitation. Vajra means indestructible or unchanging. Now, why in this case is it unchanging? Because we're going to link it up with the inhalation, the space between inhalation and exhalation, and the exhalation of our breath, which we're doing all the time. We're doing it when we're taking a bath, we're doing it when we're walking somewhere, we're doing it when we're chatting with someone, we're doing it even when we're sleeping. So, what Vajra Recitation is in simple is when you are breathing in, you would think Om. When you are paused between the breath coming in and going out, you think Ah. And that period is not holding your breath. You can, but in this particular practice, you don't need to. You just think Om, Ah. And then on the out breath, you think Om. You don't have to say it. You can say it, but it's not necessary. You just link up the thought Om, Ah, Hum with your breath coming in, pausing, and then going out. When you do this, Om, Ah, and Hum are the syllables of enlightened body, speech, and mind. You might think this is strange. I always thought it was strange. Om is actually in your forehead center. You'd think that, and that's body. You'd think body would be down here somewhere, but it's the opposite way. Om is up here, Ah is your throat, and Hum is in your heart. You can visualize the syllables as, if you know how to write them in Tibetan, you can. If you like it in English, I think it also works. Om is white, Ah is red, Hum is blue. But that's just knowledge. You don't absolutely have to remember it, nor do you have to say the syllables out loud, nor do you have to do any kind of visualization or imagining it. You don't have to do that. You can let your mind be free. What you're going to do is you're going to link up Om with your in-breath, Ah with the pause, and Om with the out-breath. There are different kinds of Vajra Recitation, but this is the most common. Before we go any further, just be at peace. Notice your breathing. And allow yourself to just think very lightly, almost listen, Om, Ah, Om, as you breathe. Don't try to control the breath. Just let it go naturally. Let your mind be like space, but in the middle of that space, you hear Om, Ah, Om. And just let that be for a little bit. Good. You don't need, at first you have to kind of focus because our minds are so busy and they're just wandering all over the place. But as you do it more, it becomes more and more linked up naturally. Because according to tantric psychophysiology, your breath is always Om on the in-breath. It's always Ah in the pause, and it's always Om on the out-breath. We are just, if you look at it, you're kind of tapping into that rather than making it new in this new way. It's easier. And you can also feel it. It feels very natural somehow. In fact, we even say with our breath, right? So it's happening naturally. Om, Ah, Hum are the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. So when we do this, when we recite this mantra, even though we're reciting it silently, although when you're driving or you're doing something, if you're by yourself, you can say Om, Ah, Hum, Om, Ah, Hum. You can do that out loud. It's okay. It's no problem. But you want to make it more and more and more subtle. You want to mingle it with your very lightly paid attentionness and the breath itself. And as you do this, it will link up and you will do it totally naturally without any trying. That might take, if you do it regularly, you do it like from the moment you walk out of this room or when we get off. If you do it regularly, you will notice that it takes, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months, and then it will be very natural, and you'll find yourself doing it without thinking about it. And that blesses your body, speech, and mind. It also blesses your breath, and it transforms your breath into mantra. And it can develop all kinds of other interesting, I wouldn't say powers, but this is the root of having control over your mind. And this is a very easy way to apply it. I can tell you a story, which I already told you, so sorry for the repetition. But so I learned this from Garchen Rinpoche. Garchen Rinpoche is an amazing Lama who lives in Arizona. I think he's the greatest Lama outside of Tibet. He just turned 90 just the other day, and he's still going strong, and he's a total bodhisattva. He spent 25 years in a Chinese prison camp. And if you're interested in him, he has lots of stuff on YouTube. There's a beautiful movie about his life called "For the Benefit of All Beings." He's a great saint, and he's alive right now. Like amazing. He was in prison with another one of my teachers. They were together forever. It was like 20 years in prison, Eastern Tibet. Crazy stories they told. But Garchen Rinpoche is like a true saint. Anyway, he has really mastered this practice. I mean, he's mastered lots of things, but he really lives this. And so first I'll tell you what happens as you do it according to him. And you can see in your own life if this actually happens. First, you have to practice, right? Then you'll notice that it happens very naturally without trying. Like you're in your car and you suddenly realize that your in-breath is Om. You're kind of like, oh, wow, I wasn't even doing it. It becomes linked up with something behind your mind. And at that point, your mind will also be a lot more calm generally. And so that it has real effects on you. But after some period, you have it as Om Ahom naturally. Then you will notice that in your dreams, you're also doing it. So if you start to do this if you have a dream tonight in which you're doing it, then that's awesome. But you probably have to practice for a little while. It has to be like a regular thing. You have to notice that you're doing it automatically in your day, and then it will become automatic in the night. And the more you do that, when you notice that you are saying it in your dreams, then you can change the recitation to just home. And every out breath is home. And at that point, you start to imagine 4 finger widths below your navel, the tumo flame, like the flame of the inner fire. And these inner fire practice we haven't talked about so much, but in Tibet they practice a lot of this yogic control, and one of the outcomes of it is that you never get cold. You also never get hot. It depends on what the environment's like. They can go around without any or many clothes on and melt the snow, and all kinds of weird stuff happens. I'm surprised you haven't heard about this. Have you heard about it? Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on YouTube about it. Herbert Benson, physiologist, I think, an MD from Harvard, did some research on some yogis about this. Very interesting. Anyway, once Om Ahom is happening with your breathing in your dreams, then Garchen Rinpoche says, then you just focus on the flame in the navel center, which is about 4 finger widths below your belly button in the middle of your body. And it flames like Om, Om, Om. First you do it with your breath, and then when that becomes very natural, then it goes with your heartbeat. It goes Om, 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 as your heart beats, without you doing anything. So he says this is the practice, and once that happens, then a lot of other stuff will happen in your life, and you will be pretty amazing. That's pretty far along, but you never know. Maybe you're the one to do it. If you practice regularly breathing in Om Home, then it will happen that you do it naturally, and it can happen in your dreams, right? Okay, once that happens, you switch. Anyway, so Garchen Rinpoche, he mastered this a long time ago when he was probably a young child. So a friend of mine is a translator, a Tibetan translator. He lives in Switzerland, and Garchen Rinpoche used to go to Switzerland every year. He stopped going about maybe now 10 years ago, 8 years ago or something. He just couldn't travel anymore. He doesn't travel much, so he stopped going to Europe. But before that happened, this is about maybe 15, 16 years ago, my friend was translating for Rinpoche. And lots of people would come and see him, and he would give teachings and whatever. He came every year for a while to Europe. And at one point, a Chinese doctor came and offered to check Rinpoche's pulses and prescribe some medicine and just, do a checkup or whatever. And Rinpoche was like, sure, what are you going to do? And she said, I'm going to check your pulses. There are 5 pulses in Chinese medicine where I'm going to, feel them. And he said, my pulse is home. And she was like, what does he mean? Trander's like, Rinpoche, what do you mean? He's like, I've transformed my pulse. It's home. And she's like, whatever. Like, let me have your wrist. It comes directly from my friend, okay? So she was feeling his pulse, and she got more and more like a look at everything. And my friend was like, what's up? And she's like, his pulse is home. I can feel it. It says, So apparently this is actually possible, that it will actually transform your body through the practice of the Vajra Recitation. And it gives us an opportunity to work with our minds. You may know how to meditate, and it's not so hard to meditate when you're on the cushion, right? You're paying attention, your body is still, your eyes are not moving, the mind is spacious, you receive the instructions. If you sit here with us or even online, it becomes, I wouldn't say easy, but it becomes natural to rest in that open state of awareness. But when you get up and start to live your life, of course, all of your problems are there, and all of your stuff, and all of your things you have to remember, and all of this stuff, and all the memories, and all the plans, and this gives you an opportunity to meditate all the time. You can still rest in total openness when your mind is calm and free when you're sitting. But when you have to go about your business, you can be in an active way transforming your attention through the practice of the Vajra Recitation. Because the problem, when we apply our attention, if you're a meditator and you practice every day, then your mind is more or less under control when you're meditating. Of course, it gets going sometimes, but most of the time, you've got a lid on it in the sense of paying attention. Automatically, your thoughts get less. You get a little more free. But in our lives, I just had this afternoon. Lydia and I were replacing light fixtures in our kitchen. There are 2 light fixtures. One went out. We bought 2 new ones that are more fancy. Not fancy, but very more modern. I turned off the power. We replaced the first one, installed the new one, turned them on. They worked great. Used the dimmer, everything good. I was like, we got this. We got this, baby. We got this. Okay, turn off the breaker, climb up on the stools, replace the other one, turn it on. Only the second one works now. The first one doesn't work. Can't figure it out. ChatGPT gave its opinion. We didn't have a chance to try it yet, but one of the neutrals might not be totally screwed into the thing. I don't know, but we'll see. But I got quite frustrated, and I was like, God, this happened once before, and I had to call an electrician. I got $350. This kind of energy, right? And that's, I'm a pretty good meditator when I'm on my cushion, but in life, we've got a lot to deal with, and especially these days, the world's pretty nuts, right? It's not. You look at Facebook, you're like, oh my God, we're in trouble. We're going to Michigan next week. Michigan's having tons of flooding, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. This is an opportunity to train all the time. We can't always abide in the natural state, right? Sometimes our mind have to be used or they're really going. But we can train in the yogic application of our breath. And through that, we naturally traverse the distance from being involved in our crazy thinking mind to behind the mind, where things are totally open, totally free. Good. Let's clear out the stale breath again. See if it's any different this time. Hands are like this. And when you breathe out, try not to do anything. Really let go. Ready? Right? The key point here is being as relaxed as you can possibly be, internally and physically. Kind of inside your body, relax. Give yourself permission to be disengaged, completely free. And then in your body, also relax as much as you can while you can still maintain your posture. Before it's after arising. Well, in dissolution, you can't practice at all. So yeah, is that the one about when practicing the Vajra Recitation? That's the last one I see. Okay, so you can practice it both when if you're doing the generation stage. So this is like, here's Vajrayana talk. So if you're not into the Vajrayana and you're not doing Yidam practice, you just skip over this. If you are, then you can apply it. When you're doing the generation stage, which means to imagine yourself as the deity, recite the deity's mantra, whatever it happens to be, Om Ahom, Om Mani Padme Hum, whatever, and to rest your mind in the openness of this same samadhi, to mingle those three together, that you usually are also maintaining the tumo flame, depending on what your yidam is and what practice you're doing, right? If this is more like Kagyu style. But if you're doing that, then do that during the development stage, right? And you can go back and forth when you have to between visualization of the deity, or focusing on the mantra, or focusing on the tumo. When you do the dissolution, don't do anything. Dissolution, completely letting go, right? The deity dissolves into the seed syllable dissolves into the ashe or whatever, depends on what the seed syllable is, and that goes, and then don't hold anything. So there's no tumo flame, there's no visualization, there's no Om Ahom, there's no nothing. Let be. That lasts for some period of time. And then when you re-arise as the deity, then you go back to the mantra of Om Ahom. Or if you're reciting your mantra all the time, that's okay. It's sometimes difficult to maintain a real mantra recitation of Vajra or whatever when you're out in your life. That's why the Vajra recitation is a good support. I hope that answers your question. If not, you can write again and I'll try my best. We got a lot of different types of people here, so that's what I can offer you right now. In this. Sometimes this is better than that. the key thing here is that as often as we can use this to catch ourselves. Because like you are a good meditator and you're meditating every day, I know it, and you know what we're talking about here. But it's awfully easy to get distracted. You know, that's the nature of things. We're out in the world, we're doing stuff, our minds are wandering. Now, this is like almost a halfway point between the absolute view of not doing anything with your mind, which is difficult to maintain even when you're sitting, and complete distraction. It's a way of anchoring the mind, because if you do this for a little while, your mind naturally opens up. You reorient from being out in your crazy your dualistic mind, to what is behind the mind. And of course, sometimes you're doing the Om, and your mind starts to open and open and open, and then of course it's fine to let go of the Om too, and be completely spacious and open and free. That'd be like a mini disillusion stage, so to speak. But then, when you re-arise, in this case probably as yourself, then you can again begin Om. And over time, this not only, it concentrates the prana, it brings the winds into the central channel from the side channels, cuts through distraction, it cuts off diluted appearance, and it just gives you control over your mind to some degree, which is something we don't have. That benefits you, and it also benefits others. Plus, it will transform your breathing into mantra, which makes your breathing auspicious. It makes your breathing meritorious. Normally, we are just burning up our merit all the time. Right? In Buddhism, there's positive karma and there's negative karma, right? And then there's kind of a neutral sort of karma, which is mostly negative. So it's like rolling really steeply downhill or rolling a little bit downhill. Rarely do we roll uphill, right? We have to do auspicious actions. We have to be generous. We have to be kind on purpose, all this kind of stuff. The reason our meditation does not immediately turn us into Buddhas is because we don't have enough merit. We don't have enough good karma. We don't have enough positivity in the merit bank, so to speak. When you practice Vajra Recitation regularly, and you make it an effort to make that a permanent part of your breathing, maybe you succeed, maybe you don't. Even if you just try, it means that all the time, whenever you remember, you're actually accumulating positivity. And that helps offset all the positivity that it costs, so to speak, to be in this world. Because the world is incredibly awesome. We live in this beautiful place, right? I don't know where you are, but Colorado is gorgeous. And we have cars, and we have heat we can turn on in our houses, and we have refrigerators. This stuff takes like good karma to have. And just having that kind of depletes our merit. It's not a bad thing, it's just how it is. We have very luxurious lifestyles. If you think only, 150 years ago, only a king could say, I want Thai food, if you're in Germany. And then bang, there's Thai food. Now all we have to do is be like, bring me the Thai food to Uber Eats, and in 45 minutes, anything you want. It's like a miracle almost. That miracle is not free, in a sense. It takes merit. So if you want to progress on the spiritual path, you have to make more merit than you're losing, so to speak. Right? This is like practical spirituality. And the one way to do that is to bless your body, speech, and mind with your in-breath, the pause, and the out-breath. The more you do it, you will feel it. You will feel it. You might even feel it already. It's very powerful. And if you do it regularly for a while, you feel energized, not only in a physical way, but also in a sort of psychic way. You're kind of you're making an effort, which makes a cutting between your ordinary habits of just being confused all the time and not doing that. So in a sense, you're kind of damming up your energy in a way that you're not when you're just normally breathing, which is like us rolling downhill. Easy to roll downhill, hard to roll uphill. That makes sense? No. It's kind of the inner working of it. So it does take some effort, but like they say in AA, it works if you work it, right? If you train, you will know. You won't have to wonder about it. You will know. And if you start to do it in your dreams, then we can talk more about how to move to the next level and stuff. That'd be good. And pretty soon you'll go to the doctor and they'll take your pulse and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" It says hum hum. And then you can call Gertrude Chip and say, "Hey, it works." And he'll be like, "Yeah, it does." He's so excellent. He's like a great bodhisattva. He really lives only for others. He's so awesome. You can hardly see him. I tell you one thing about him. He does a lot of, well, he used to do online teaching quite a lot. So he gave empowerments and he would give teachings. He did question and answer. You could write your questions down and send them in email-wise, and then they would pick some out and then he would answer these. I mean, to think of that is incredible. Anyway, they set up this big TV in front of him, and it has little squares for all the people who have their cameras on when they do these Zoom calls or however they do it. Do you know Garchie Rinpoche? He's so awesome. And Garchie Rinpoche, when he was in prison, he was tortured a lot. And his eyes are kind of messed up, so it's like this. So if he wants to see you, he has to go like this with his eyes. It's kind of, he's so awesome. Anyway, sometimes in the teaching, he'll go like this, and he's obviously looking at the TV. And when he looks at it, some of the people he recognizes, right, because they've been there or whatever. But I swear, and it even works, and you know this, it even works on replays when you didn't even see the original thing. Sometimes when he's looking, you get this extremely strong feeling he's looking right at you. And you're like, "Oh my God, Rinpoche, thank you." I've had it where I was just sitting there. It happened to me a couple times during live stream things. I did have my camera on, but he met me once. He doesn't know me. I wouldn't think, you never know with those guys. But he would look and he would be like, and I felt like he was looking right at me, the weirdest thing. So he's a great bodhisattva. So we want to do whatever we can to be more like that, less like me, less like ordinary and completely stinking and thinking only about ourselves. He's so great. He would be happy, I think, that we're talking about this. Probably is happy. This is an extremely easy technique. You do not need to hold your breath. You can mix it with holding the Vajra breath. If for those Vajrayana people who are on here, if you know how to hold the Vajra breath, either the Bumchen, the big one, or Barlow, or any of the other styles of holding a little bit of the breath, you can mix it with that. And that is more powerful because it will arrest thoughts quicker. But you don't need to do that. And all that really is, the easiest way is when you breathe in, Om, and then with Ah, you just lift up your lower gate, your perineum, just a tiny bit. That's all you have to do. And you can hold your breath in that for a moment, 1 second, 2 seconds. Not hard. You're not pushing down really hard. It takes a little training to do that. You're not doing any of the hardcore stuff. You're just lifting up slightly. And you breathe out with Om. And you let go of that. And when you breathe in, Om, and then you lift up a tiny bit from below. Ah, and then Om. And you can mix it that way if you want, if you're interested in yogic application. But if you want it easy, just Om, Ah, Om. Om, Ah, Om. The great thing about this is you do not have to wonder, is this working? Because it will become very obvious. It might take a little while, it might take a long while for you, but you have to apply yourself. You have to be like, I'm going to try this. But if you do, you will notice. You probably notice right now. Because the body, speech, and mind of all the Buddhas is Om Ahom, when you breathe this in this way, you are consecrating your body to no longer be this ordinary body that we kind of take for granted, but to be what is called the Vajra body, the unchanging aspect of the body, the pure part. Said another way, you are separating the pure part of your breath from the impure part. Pure part is called the Dhamma, impure part is called the Nigma. These are mixed together. And that mixing keeps us ordinary, keeps us, we have thoughts about good things, we have thoughts about bad things. Mostly we think about ourselves and how we're going to get affected or how we're going to do something, whatever. This whole focus on ourselves is like the problem, according to Buddhism. The more you do the Om Ahom, the more that seems less important and it fades away of itself. And a kind of subtle, at first psychic, transformation takes place. And the mind becomes much more calm, much more open. And in that, it's very easy to recognize your nature. Our minds are so busy, it's hard sometimes to recognize your nature and have it mean anything. Because we just got so many thoughts, and the thoughts are so sticky. We're out there in our mind. Our mind is just made out of thoughts. We're just thinking past, present, future. What am I going to do? What did I do? What does she mean by that? What is this happening right now? Remember, the Buddha said in one finger snap, 60 instance. Instance of what? Grasping, holding, thinking, right? When you practice Om Ahom, when you relax in this natural state of awareness of just being open, not any kind of special thing, it's kind of like your busy mind might still be busy, but you kind of step back from that a little bit. You're behind the mind a little bit, and that's a lot more peaceful. When you do that, naturally your attention changes to this open state, and then the thoughts of the mind die down, because they are impelled by this karmic energy, the impure part of the wind, of the breathing, the nigma. When you recognize this openness behind your mind, naturally your breath becomes more calm, your body becomes more soft, your mind expands a little bit. And the energy that compels you to continuously think dies down. It's been redirected, in a sense, towards this openness. And the center of that openness is a kind of comfort or ease or pleasure, sukha. So they say bliss in Buddhism, but that sounds so strong. This is much more subtle than that. That bliss is mixed with a kind of caring, natural caring for others. And that natural caring, is bodhicitta, it's compassion. And that also feels good. So you're kind of retuning the radio of your mind, so to speak. One channel back. Doesn't mean you can't think about things. Doesn't mean you can't be effective in the world or have plans, of course. But it takes place in a more vast space. I can tell you're doing it right now. I can see it. Relax. Very relaxed. Don't try to hold it. I've said this before, but maybe you online haven't heard it. There's something floating around on YouTube or something, and it's these guys in Australia, I think, and they're out in this field, and there's an electric fence there, and one of them touches it and it's like, whoa, that's really strong. And this other guy's like, you're just a wuss, or something. And he goes, yeah, well, you grab it. And he goes, cowabunga, baby. And he grabs this electric fence. Has anybody ever touched an electric fence here? Me too. It's no joke. It's not a joke. Anyway, he starts jerking like this and falls on the ground. Oh my God. It made me laugh so hard. Cowabunga, baby. What you have to realize is that when we go out into the world, our mental world, and grab onto things, it's just like that. It's exactly like that. The Buddha said, suffering is all over the place, and the cause of suffering is grasping. We are doing it all the time. We grasp onto things we like, and we want to hold on to them. We're desperate. We try to push as hard as we can to get rid of things we don't like, and everything else we just trying to keep at bay. And this enactment of this ridiculous drama is painful. So when you're meditating, don't meditate too hard. Meditate easy, loose. Loosen inside, loose. Very soft. For you Vajrayana people, and maybe somebody here, you know Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, right? He started Naropa, Karmadzong, a huge, important guy. His secretary was a friend of mine. His name was Richard Othyor Kungadawa. He was the one who wrote down the Sadhana of Mahamudra in English, if you're familiar with this kind of thing. Anyway, he did about 4 years retreat at this place in New Mexico. He built this little cabin with the help of these Indian guys. And he did all this retreat down there. And I used to visit him. I had a cabin also on the same land. And I would go down there occasionally, and we would hang out a little bit for the weekend or whatever. And one day I said, Kunga, how is it in retreat? How's it going? Because you could tell something was going on with him. He was meditating. And he said, he kind of looked and he said, you know how it is? It's like this. Well, that was very profound. We don't even know we're grasping. We think we're loose, we're chill, but we're not chill at all. We are super busy. We're busy trying to hold on to the things that we want and we love. We're trying to get rid of everything else that we don't like, and then everything else that's not important, we're just busy ignoring. Those are the three poisons, right? Lust, anger, and delusion, ignorance. We are always like this. That's why when you first learn to meditate, the first experience is like, meditation's making me think more. My mind's like a waterfall, right? Because you don't realize how much we're doing, like it's flipping through the Rolodex. But after you sit for a while, and when you get the key point instructions, and you bless your body, speech, and mind with Om, you realize there's a whole other frequency that you can tune into. There's a whole other way of being that's a lot more like this. In order to drop this, you have to let go. You have to open. That's why Kunga said it's like this. He almost gave me like a pointing out instruction when he did it too, because we were standing in his little tiny kitchen. His room was just one room. We were standing in the kitchen because he used to like to eat toast. An Englishman, and he loved to eat toast with marmalade, but he didn't have a toaster because he didn't have electricity to make toast. He had to put the butter in the pan, and then he put the bread on there, and he would fry it which actually makes a very good, nice toast. Anyway, we were frying the toast, and I was like, "How's it really going? What's happening here?" And he was like, "It's like this," and I felt like my own mind went like that too. Nothing to hold. That's the essence of meditation, not focusing on one thing and excluding everything else. That doesn't have any value in this case. But to get to that point, we have to tether our body, speech, and mind, right? We've got to get our body under control. We've got to get our speech, breath under control. And then through those, we can start to control the mind, right? We have to bring those under control. And then once they're under control, we can let go more easily, more deeply, more soft. Another way to think about it is that we are constantly in a state of kind of some level of anxiety. We're anxious about things that we like being taken from us. We're anxious about things that we don't like coming to get us. And we're anxious that the situation's going to change. This is totally natural because everything is impermanent. Nothing is stable. This is the nature of things. When you tune into this aspect of yourself, which is free from the grasping onto the present, grasping onto the past, and the grasping onto the future, the sorting things into things you like and want and need to hold on to and don't like and need to get rid of, that continual process, there's a sense of like, at first it almost feels like a gap or something in your mind. As you become more comfortable in it, you realize that actually what it is, it's just a break from anxiety. Like you're like, wow, I was a lot more stressed than I thought. We didn't realize it because we're so habituated to it. We're so habituated, the only way we can look at life is get more of what we want and get rid of what we don't want. Right? That's the only way we can think about it. But the problem is that it's like trying to organize things on your desk when your desk is actually on the Titanic and the Titanic is actively sinking. Right? The Titanic's like this, and you keep putting your coffee cup, but it keeps sliding, and you're just like, things are not working. Right?
Band's still
The band's That's exactly right. Takes a little effort. Got to remember. Got to train ourselves. Om. It doesn't happen automatically for most people. I mean, maybe someone, but for most of us, we're going to have to put some effort in because we're habituated to continuously thinking. And that the tone of that continuous thought generation process is one of stress, of anxiety. It's discomfort. It's stressful. It's painful. And that's okay, but aren't you sick of that? I am. What a bummer to live that way. Because when you're under a lot of stress and you're really thinking a lot, you're anxious, what are you mostly thinking about? Yourself. Worried about you. So there's no compassion there. You can't even see anyone else because you're busy. You're like, I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm doing things. I'm trying to get myself out of this hole. Right? While you're actively digging the hole. Kind of crazy. We are a little crazy. So it's easy. Body, speech, and mind. Body like a mountain. Speech like the ocean with no waves. Mind like the sky. In the middle of that, Om. Very light. You're not like being like, Om. Not like that. Very light. You hear it. Listen for it, and you can hear it. When the Om is going, it's very spacious. Even in the midst of crowds, even in the midst of busyness. It's a little bit like being a bird. If you were a bird and there was an earthquake and you flapped your wings, all of a sudden the earthquake would not matter to you. Right? You'd be up in the air. No matter how much the earth is moving, it's not really affecting you. Right? So long as we're so heavy and stuck on the ground, an earthquake happens, which could be any kind of thing. War in the Middle East. You lose your job. I don't have enough money. She doesn't like me anymore. Whatever. Then you're like completely like that. When you tune into this other aspect of yourself, the spaciousness inherent in that which is kind of behind your mind, It's not that you can't deal with those things, but you're not compelled to react in the normal way, which is one of anxiety, stress, worry, freaking out. Very lightly. And remember, in Tibetan, we're not meditating, because meditation has this sense of holding something, focusing. We're just becoming accustomed. We're becoming comfortable with this other aspect of ourselves. It's a lot vaster. It's a lot more spacious. It's kind of like if you've been living in a tiny apartment, a studio apartment, you got all your stuff, you got to be really organized. Everything's over here, and you got boxes and everything like that. And then you move into a big house that has a basement, like Dan's house. Dan has a huge basement in his house. There's nothing down there. So Dan, if you buy something and it comes in a big box, and you're like, I don't want to throw this box away, you can put it in the basement, right? You have a lot of space. It's nice. Right? Same thing here. There's an aspect of our mind which is very vast. They say, I don't know anything about horses, but they say, if you're trying to train a horse and it's a wildish horse and you put it in a tiny little corral, then it'll go totally crazy. All you need to do is put it in a great big corral and it will immediately chill. Same thing here. We got a lot of problems when we try to control them by being like, I'm going to be more peaceful. Oh, I'm not going to care about that, whatever. It's like putting the horse in a tiny corral, it goes wild. When we recognize our natural spacious openness, then the horse of our mind, which is normally crazy, it has more space and it doesn't feel so stressed, so it relaxes. Good. Just keep this in mind. It's yours. You own this. You can return to it anytime. You can permeate your spacious awareness with Om Ahom anytime you remember to do so. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the more you want to do it. And the vastness of the mind is super vast, almost infinitely vast. So allow it to be open, open, open. That takes courage, but you can do it. We are going to conclude, and in there's a prayer, so grab one. And online, the prayer's in the chat, I think, or in the comments or something. And you don't have to use this prayer at home, but you do have to dedicate the merit, because we create so much good karma or whatever by simply being spacious like this for everyone. that when we finish, we want to offer that up to everybody. So if you don't have this prayer or you're not interested in learning it, then you can just think, may everyone benefit from my openness and spaciousness. Whatever goodness I've created here, may everyone benefit. That's all you have to do. Otherwise, you finish meditating, you get up, and by the time you get to the door, you forgot everything. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for putting that in there. So we're just going to sit here a second. Return to your open spaciousness, which is your own personal property. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara may I free all beings. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We are a self-supporting group. I think this information's in the chat, but it mostly goes to keep us able to use this extremely lovely studio. Thank you, Ricky and Dana, for allowing that. And please come back. The more you practice, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the more you want to practice. And the next thing you know, you're a Buddha. Incredible. Thank you for coming. Good to see you. Good to see all of you online. Be well. Lots of love. Remember, it's your personal property. Goodbye.